Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Bucky Lasik. You're listening to the Rally Podcast.
Esto es el Rally Podcast, vamos al rally. Deja tu problema en la cuneta. Pilas que el tramo ya está cronometrado y el anti-lag se escucha cada vez más cerca. Bienvenido al podcast que lidera. El primer auto pasa, el polvo se levanta y deja la primera huella. La gasolina y el aroma de la naturaleza se mezcla.
Welcome back, guys. This is the second episode in English of the Rally Podcast. It is your host, Jorge Pardo. Tonight, we have another super special episode, as we call when we have a great guest, a special guest. As everybody else, we want to welcome Aakash Desai and Santiago. How are you guys?
Thank you. How are you?
Hey guys, good
Good.
afternoon, everybody. This is the second episode that we're doing in English, and we have a lot of good topics to have. A couple great news that are coming out from the U.S. and the rally community, and like Jorge said, we welcome a good friend of mine, a person that still owes me a stylus.
A stylus.
Yeah, still owe me a stylus.
You know
and
how
that's
many years
the way
it's
that
been?
we met each other. Yep.
It's been 11 years. I think, was that how we met each other? I think we had
That's
met
how we
each other
met.
before
Yeah, that's
that.
how
No,
we
before
had a couple
that.
conversations here and there, but
Yeah.
we never yeah.
We got close thanks to a stylist. So
Yeah.
yes.
Akash,
Yes.
that's it. How are you, brother? How's everything?
Very good. Thank you, man.
It's been a couple years. I think the last time I saw you is actually that video that Santiago played at the intro.
Yeah.
You were in that was test day, I believe.
Yes.
Check them.
So it's great to see you again. Thankfully, we
Yeah, man.
have technology now. We have HD cameras and great
Yes.
audio to share with everybody. So let's get starting. Just introduction. How do you get involved in this craziness? We all, kind of started somewhere. Just bring us back, to the year and who or how you got involved into the world of rallying.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So I can bring you back to the year, but I'm not sure if you guys were even born that year, or if you were, you're probably really small because I was 6 months
We're
old.
old, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks can be
no,
deceiving,
so-
brother.
I know looks can be deceiving, but I still do think I'm probably older than both of you. But however, no, I started in rallying, I guess at the age of 6 months. I grew up in Dubai, as some people know, and some of your listeners may not know, but I grew up in Dubai in the 80s and 90s, and my dad used to be involved with his company because they would all go out together and marshal at what was the Dubai International Rally back in the day. Today, the Dubai International Rally is more about, on the same terms of the W2RC, the World Rally Raid Championship kind of setup, right? But before, it used to be, just like our rallies, with regular cars, all the Fords and the Toyotas and all those and Audis. And so I grew up with that, and I was taken to my first rally at 6 months old. And he took me around, with the rally cars, the service park, roadside service back then and all that stuff. And I think, at least to my understanding, or how I like to tell myself, is that while walking me around as a 6-month-old, with all the fumes, all the brake dust, the dirt, the dust, everything, all the smells and sights and sounds of rallying, just somehow I breathed it in and messed up my wiring, and so
Yeah.
here we are.
Those asbestos back then were good.
It was some of the best asbestos ever. Yeah. So,
Oh man, so you basically were introduced at a early age up to this 87 episode that we have of the podcast.
yes.
So yeah, I guess
yes.
you get the golden medal for early introduction into the world of rally.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, obviously, yeah, from that perspective, but obviously I can't beat someone like Cali Rovanpera or Oliver Solberg, right? But but you know, it's along the same lines. Yeah, you know, just being introduced to it young, and then just being absolutely uh fanatic over it. You know, I grew up idolizing, and I mean idolizing. I mean like literally idolizing Mohammed bin Sulayem, who is the current FIA president.
I was gonna
Uh,
say he is from that time, and he was
yes.
rallying with some Toyota, older
Yep,
Toyota, right?
the Toyota
Yes,
Celica back in the day. Yes,
right,
yes,
right.
and then he moved over to the Ford Escort Sierra Cosworth at some point, you know, in the '90s and things of that nature. So, yeah, you know, I grew up idolizing him significantly. You know, I've got pictures with him as a kid growing up and things of that nature. And then, you know, one of his biggest competitors at the time was a Qatari driver named Saeed Al Hajri, who used to drive for the Rothmans Porsche 911 team as well, you know.
Mm.
And so, you know, I grew up, uh, it's very funny. You know, I always feel like colors, red, blue, yellow, and green have always been in that numerical order, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm,
because Mohammed bin Sulayem drove for Marlboro, you know, so they were red.
mhm.
Mhm.
And he used to finish first. Saeed Al Hajri used to drive for Porsche Rothmans, that was blue. And there was a third driver from Lebanon named Michel Saleh, who used to drive an Audi, and that used to be yellow. So, you know, and I think I forget who the green car was, but nobody cared about fourth, right? It was just 1, 2, 3. But these guys used to always finish in my head 1, 2, 3. So, you know, it's I've
So
always had that
it
connection.
was a close battle. I'm going based on the cars and the sponsors back then.
Oh yeah, it was always a close battle growing
Exactly.
as a kid. For me, it was just watching Mohammed bin Sulayem win, him being chased by Saeed Al Hajri in the Rothmans Porsche, and just watching those two battle it out. And I never understood anything about anything at that point except for there was a Toyota Celica and there was a Porsche. You know, I was like, this is
There was a
awesome.
red, there
So
was a green, there was a white.
that's
It was the
it.
same.
So,
I think it was everybody for the same
yeah.
thing. It was a red Evo,
But
a
the
blue
funny thing is,
Subaru.
I actually no, you know, it's funny as a kid. I always was able to identify cars, pick out the cars, and then the colors just helped it. But I could make out, I knew a car from its shape from afar, you know. I don't know, it was something about I get something about the fascination with rallying and cars that definitely helped enhance all that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's how I was also growing up in rally. Like I didn't even look at the logos, and even now, you know, that I'm in this industry, I'm my basically my main focus right now is still automotives. You know, that's my
Yeah.
24/7 operations. Um, it's always been headlights, taillights, and shape of the
Yeah.
car. Like
Shape of the car. Yeah.
you can delete the logo. I'm gonna know what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
you know,
So
I think
that's very
that
important.
tells that I think that early beginning doing that is what really shapes like a true car enthusiast and
Yeah.
eventually, you know, specialize in something like it's rallying.
Right. Right.
That's awesome. That's a great story. That's a
Yeah.
great beginning. And then
Yeah.
when the adventure started in the USA?
Ah, the adventures of the USA. So I moved to the US in '96. You know, I used to visit as a kid, but I moved eventually permanently in '96. Um, and you know, in the '90s, obviously we know the world of rallying was so awesome, you know, across in the WRC and all those. So, you know, I used to follow all that with whatever methods that we had back then. It was now that I look back, that was 30 years ago. Um, and you know, I think the internet was still coming around, wasn't it? At some point, something along
Eh,
those lines. There was
Yeah,
something on speed.
a
I
dial
think
speed
there was
up.
TV.
something on
Yeah, it was a speed TV. Speed TV.
Speed TV. There was something on
Yes.
Speed TV. I remember that. But somehow I always knew when the races were, and I would be able to follow it. Right? It was just weird. How I managed that, I have no idea. But I figured it out at some point. Um, so I was looking around. You know, I guess I tried looking for rally and then didn't find anything, and I just was very disappointed. But uh, at one point, my cousin's friend um, started working at Subaru corporate, and he must have given my cousin um, a Subaru Rally Team USA cap.
Oh crap.
And My cousin had no interest for that cap, and I think he kept it for a couple of years, and then at some point in the early 2000s, he was like, "Oh, I have this cap. I know you like rallying and stuff. You always talk about what you did in Dubai, and you can have this cap." And he gave me this cap, and I just went, "What? Like how? Where'd
Do
you
we
get this
have
cap
rally in the
from?
US?
We have rally. Where is this rally?" So the minute I got that cap, I think in the 2000s, yeah, because we were in high school going to college
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time, and the internet was still coming around, and I think it was Yahoo maybe or something, and I went and I looked it up. I looked up Subaru Rally Team USA or something of that sort, and ultimately I think I found the schedule of the SCCA rally thing and all that, and somehow in 2002 I figured that the closest race to me was STPR, and my sister and I drove out. I don't know. Back in the day, you had to email people or call people and tell them you wanted to register or something of that sort. So, anyways, we go and we drove. I think at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. We left from Jersey, and you know, 5 hours later, we're in Wellsboro, and I forget what route it is, but it's one of the routes where there's a gas station right outside of town, literally
Mhm.
right outside of town, and there's a big lake right across it. You know what I'm talking about? I think is
Yes.
it
Yeah.
287 or something? Yeah.
It's going, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I forget the route number, but I know my SDPR people who are listening or will listen are gonna give me a lot of crap for this. But um
We need
uh
we need that actually that you mentioned. We need that so we can guide new listeners how to get to
yeah.
SCPR. So
Well I told them to join, so let's see. I don't know. Anyways. But um so we stopped to get gas there at like maybe like 5 or 6 in the morning, and all of a sudden uh I forget his name now. It just it loses my mind, but the Subaru Rally Team USA car comes through. It was the driver that got killed at Oregon. Um, I can't remember his name. Sorry, I'm blanking right now. But he came flying through in the Subaru, and both of us literally just pumping gas. We just go, oh, and that was it. And we're like, that's it. We're found Rally Town, USA. And so, we went in 2002 is when I found STPR. In 2002 is when I found Rallying in America. And I have been hooked ever since then. Um, there were times in my life where I, had to skip rallies or skip years. But I always tried to make at least one rally. I could a year at least, STPR for sure, you know, um, and then all of that ultimately, um, ended up in the fact that in 2015, I was finally able to compete, fulfill a dream of being a rally driver, even for a half a second. And I did that at SDPR as my debut rally, because technically it would be considered my home rally, being
right.
from Jersey originally. And the fact that it was the first rally I spectated in America as well. I mean, the emotions were crazy, because the minute I pulled into Park Expose on the green in Wellsboro that first morning, with all the stuff that had happened leading up to the rally, which that's another podcast I think by in itself, and we would need Billy Petrov from Broken Motorsports to join. But um, yeah, I just broke down. I just broke down, literally sitting there in the car. I just broke down. Um, and actually, just thinking about it is making me, you know, well up. But yeah, it was an awesome moment. A dream come through true. And the fact that I was able to even be there
Of
in a
course.
rally suit, in a rally car, and that too a Subaru Impreza, was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And then,
So the
yeah,
car broke down at Park Expose.
no.
No, no.
So the car, so Billy Petrov from Broken Motorsports,
Uh-huh.
he had bought this car. I think he bought the car, or he ended up getting the car, if I remember correctly, I think less than 30 days before the event.
Right.
Uh, and within 30 days, him and his team transformed this car from a road going car into a rally car.
Yeah.
That was plenty time for Billy Petrov. Trust me, it's
So,
plenty
I
time
was
for
gonna
Billy.
say, I was gonna say for Billy,
Considering what a normal bill would take.
It would absolutely. But you have to keep in mind that Billy Petrov is one hell of a rally person.
Yeah.
Had a great team at the time. You know, he's always had good teams, but had a great team at the time, and they made it happen. Bottom line, right? They're driving the car out the day before. I think they were driving the car out on Thursday night. You know, before the rally on Friday morning at Park Expose, and I think they maybe like 50 miles or less than that leaving Jersey from Union City or Union. It was Union.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, the car just the engine just dies. Billy's car, the Nissan, was on the back of the trailer. So now they had to put the car on the trailer. Billy's car had to be driven to Wellsboro, and they needed to source an engine. So they get in there at about, I think, somewhere around midnight. And by this time, they've already made the calls to all the people they know in the area. And I think they ended up finding a legacy engine or something along those lines. And they worked all night to put that engine in the car and make that car running so that I could be at the expose at 8 o'clock in the morning.
For the
And I
second
remember
day.
for the
for
first
the first
day.
day.
For the
Oh, for
first
the
day. For
first
the
day.
first day. Yes. The rally hasn't even started, my friend.
Oh, geez.
And I had finished recce on recce as well. My personal car, my Subaru, my '07 WRX at the time, decided to take a shit. Sorry, can I say that? Or is this a
Yeah,
family friendly episode? Sorry.
it's
No.
rated R.
Okay, rated R. So, well, it had an issue. I think it was a fuel pump issue, and I was basically stuck at the end of the hill going towards waste management. Um, and so I ended up doing recce with Alvin Fong, and his co-driver at the time. Alvin Fong, I don't know if you remember Santiago.
Yeah.
I
The
remember that
Mitsubishi.
last
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. So my sister and I sit in the back of Alvin's truck, and Alvin and his co-driver, and then we're doing recce with them. But yeah, I, I I get back to the Airbnb, and I get a call from Billy, that night on Thursday night saying, we've had a problem. And I'm like, what problem? And he proceeds to tell me the problem. And he's like, but Akash, you'll be at Park Expose in the morning and you will run the rally. And I'll tell you, that man made a promise and he lived up to it. And it was a fantastic experience. I think we started 60th or something, or 59th out of 60 or something. And we finished 36th out of 36th, I believe, if I remember correctly, and if EWRC results is correct. Finished 36th out of 36th, but we finished. So that was
Hell
fantastic.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's what it's about, the first
yeah,
rally and the memories, that they're
yeah,
I think we'll take it, all the way until the day of a great time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I'll take it to my grave all day, every day. Yeah, man.
of course. But yeah, STPR used to be for the guys that don't know what STPR
Newbies.
is basically one of the oldest rally
Yes.
events in the North American rally championships.
Yeah, we've we didn't run in 2020, for obvious reasons. But this is the 49th year, I believe, and the 48th running. Now I always get my numbers confused, but I believe that's what it is. It's the 49th year, because we started officially in 77. So, it's the 49th year and the 48th running because of COVID, obviously. We missed that 1 year. But so yeah, it's one of the oldest running rallies in the country. And if not the oldest. So yeah, it's a great rally. It's
It
a
is.
fantastic rally. Um, there are a lot of changes that have happened over the years, right? I mean, obviously we know rallying in America moved from the all day, 1 day events, they start at the crack of dawn and end not till the next morning at like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock and things of that nature, right? So obviously that's one aspect of it, but obviously rallies changed over the years. And but STPR has still been true to the nature, fast, technical, twisty, quick roads, with enough camber, with enough excitement around every corner. So it's still and a little bit rough, because which rally isn't rough? So but you need a little bit of that. So we've got all of that, and I think the rally is still holds true.
And I think
Yeah,
one of
no.
the best thing about that rally was the night stage, the fairgrounds,
Yeah.
the head-to-head battle. That was one of the best ones, if not the best,
Yeah,
in the
and
US. And I think it was the
yeah.
only one that had that
I
format.
believe so. At that point, I believe they were the only one who had that head-to-head thing. I can't remember from those days, which of the other rallies had it. I mean, some of them. I think there may have been others that had just a super special.
Oregon
But not a
Oregon had it
head-to-head.
at some
Oregon
point.
or
Oregon had it at some
Oregon
point.
had it,
Yeah.
right? Oregon had
Mhm.
it. I think they used to run it. I think they still do, right? They run it out of the Portland
Yeah, they still
International
do it.
Raceway,
But
and yeah.
again, Oregon went.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I mean, there's I mean, I can't comment on any of that stuff, right? I mean, everybody has reasons why they go through ups and downs. I'm not saying that SDPR has also been able to stay away from all of that, the ups and downs. We're also experiencing that at some point, but from a super special perspective, I think yes, I believe that SDPR and whoever's listening out there, or would see this later can correct us, but I think we were the only ones who had that head to head stuff,
Yeah,
and,
because then
it
the
was
next one that
yeah,
I remember is Tennessee.
right. Oh, you mean
Tennessee,
I
yeah,
mean in the
Tennessee. That
last
has
few
no,
years,
yeah,
yeah,
the last couple of years basically. But
you're
yeah, I
right,
remember,
yeah,
and that was
no,
the main point for that race.
yeah,
People would jump from stage. I mean, the first time that I went with my brother was 2011. It
right,
was jumping from one stage to the other, then to the other, then to the not even
hmm,
waste management, because waste management it wasn't allowed to spectate in there,
right, okay, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
then go to the fairgrounds, and then the next day it
fairgrounds,
was yeah.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
there was a way
remember,
that you could do the fairgrounds. I mean, the
right,
waste management, but
but still, yeah,
mhm.
we'll keep that off the podcast.
Yeah.
Uh,
The point
um,
the point is the reason I mention it because I want again, the reason of this podcast is to basically show new people and welcome them into the community and make them understand that these rallies do not happen. Number one, they do not happen by big corporations like other
no,
motorsports. They do not happen by luck. They do not happen by fun. They have to be regulated. They have to be structured. And these rallies basically are run by people like us, by people like
mhm,
like you, Akash, that being into the
yep,
game since over 20 years.
yeah,
So it is hard. It is it is it is almost per se, it is almost impossible to run it if it wasn't because of the volunteers and the people, that has, regular day jobs, and we use basically our PTO to make it
hmm,
happen. So when you
yes,
attend to these rallies, you literally seeing the effort, the collective effort of
hmm,
everybody trying to make the event happen.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay?
no, absolutely. You're 100% right about that. That is spot on. None of these rallies in America, right? And even in other parts of the world, right? In national championships, right? None of these rallies can sustain if they don't have a volunteer base. A
Correct.
volunteer base that is committed, that has the excitement, that is slightly crazy, because we have to be crazy to love the sport.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have to be a fanatic of sorts. But we all take our personal time off. We all are committed to the sport, to because the best way to see the rally cars is not necessarily just as a person visiting the event as a fan, because there are so many, sadly, I guess, if that's the right word, restrictions from an insurance perspective, where we need to be safe and we can't have people just wander off into the woods. And, obviously people are going to find the adventurous ones are going to find their ways around. You know, a lot of us are guilty as charged. Um, but we need the volunteers, right, to make sure these events run safe. These events are good to go. We spend our time, our personal time. We spend our personal leave. You know, we also, depending on what role you're doing and what you how you are volunteering, you're sacrificing family time too. You know, so that is all very much part of the concept of volunteering, right? Um, but we need volunteers. We need volunteers across rallies in America, not just at SDPR, not just at Southern Ohio, not just at Oregon, not just at Olympus. We need them everywhere. We need volunteers from each region, you know, or new people, new fans, new spectators. You know, the old ones will come back. They will come back. They're diehards. Uh, but we need new people, and we need people to understand that, you know, the way that they can get close to these cars, the way they can watch these cars, the way they can feel a part of the event is to volunteer. And that is extremely key and important, you know, for rally to sustain in America. And as you said, it's not about the corporations, because there is no really there's no corporate, you know, backing per se, right? It's just you know, I mean, we have corporate back teams, you know, from a competitor perspective. But for an event, of course, we have ARA that has the backing of Kubota and, you know, those sorts of things. But at an individual event level, you know, we need the help of the volunteers to keep the event running, that we can therefore push for more funding at an individual event level.
Correct.
So now you are a volunteer and also you do a zero car.
Yeah. So let me actually track you back to my volunteering days. So I grew up volunteering, right? I grew up in Dubai marshaling and all that stuff. Obviously, when I moved over to the States, I continued volunteering. You know, when I had the opportunity, you know, I moved from a regular marshal to stage captain, you know, all that stuff. And now at SDPR, and this is my second year as chief of controls. So, you know, so that's where I moved up in my volunteering scale, I guess.
Ranks.
Ranks, yeah, ranks. So, yeah, so I volunteer my time throughout the year, as part of the organizing committee, and the group of people that help organize STPR. Um, you know, we have a great chairperson in Phil Barnes. You know, we have our awesome clerk of the course, Alan Smith. You know, our assistant clerk of the course, Lloyd Smith, Lloyd, and then of course everybody knows our you know, our famous competitor registrar. You know, Sue Ann Carson. You know, so
STPR Queen.
STPR Queen. You know, so we have, you know, and then there are so many others. You know, we have our great volunteer coordinator, Stephanie Bucher. You know, her husband Roy Bucher is our spectator captain. I think everybody knows him. You know, so we have a lot of people that you know, that are behind SDPR in terms of organizing. So yeah, you know, that's part of my volunteer duties from a organizing / marshaling perspective, right? And then um, from a zero car perspective, you know, a couple of years ago, well, I shouldn't say zero car, part of the zero cars team. You know, a couple of years ago, after COVID, I went to Ohio, Southern Ohio, for the first year in 2021 to volunteer. And you know, I was there, marshal regular, but obviously somehow, you know, as ways work in rallying, I ended up being stage captain the following year. And then in you know, Jeff McGee, who's the chief zero car, or chief of zero cars up there, you know, I think in 22 as stage captain, you know, he came by on my stage and I said, you know, I gotta figure out how to get in one of these zero cars. And then in 2023, he's like, well, do you want to be a 000? I said, okay. And so that's when that started. So, you know, in 23, 24, I was 000. And then last 2 years, I've been the 00 along with him, because they have two sets, as you know. They have a triple, a group A and a group B for triple and double. And so yeah. So I'm now a 00 at Southern Ohio along with Jeff and my dad.
Basically, you've done every position in the volunteering of a rally, from what I'm understanding.
Uh, on stage, yes. I now as chief of controls, yes. I also had to jump in and take care of the volunteer coordinator side of things last year at STPR, because due to unfortunate circumstances, our volunteer coordinator at the time had a personal issue come up and couldn't make the rally and needed, someone to take over because he had to ultimately also leave the organization. Um, he so he had to go, so I had to take it over because as chief of controls, I had to make sure all my people were in the right spots, right? So, yeah, so I've done that. Um, do marketing along with Suan. We co-lead the marketing section at SDPR. I'm trying to, now that you asked me such a question, really need to think as to what all I have actually done or not done because
That's
yeah,
I like to ask those questions because people, like most of our followers, they are new to the sport, and I actually want to
right.
share this with you guys. A couple rallies ago, somebody found us on TikTok, and they say they've never been to
Mm,
a rally, so they reach out to us, and me and Santiago, we go our
mhm.
way. Um, and basically instruct them, all right, what
Yeah.
state, what's your state, where you at,
Hmm.
where you located,
Right.
and then we go
Yeah.
on the map and see, all right, you have this event. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go,
Hmm.
and they show
Hmm.
up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a quick, not to show internal numbers, but that event that we covered with Santiago, we during those 3 days of the rally, we had over 60,000 people reaching out our social medias. So
Wow.
people is
Mhm.
watching, people is understanding,
Yeah.
people is trying
Yeah.
to get involved in the sport. And I think it's an amazing thing to have this channel now, this way to share anything to make the events better and bigger and more accessible for new followers.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, you know, with your channel's reach that you already have, mentioned, I think it would be fantastic especially for people who are listening to your podcast right now or who are listening to your channel, maybe tomorrow or whenever,
Mhm.
that they are aware, especially those in not just the tri-state area, which is the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut,
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, all those areas, right? Not just that area, but people even in the a little bit in the South, in the DC area, in the Maryland area, Delaware, even Virginia, West Virginia, anybody who's listening in these areas, if they can come out to their closest rally, which would be Wellsboro,
Mhm.
which would be STPR in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, which as most people who are also aware of, for example, Little League World Series baseball, that's played in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Wellsboro is just an hour north of there. So if you're a baseball fan and know about that, you know where to go, right? So we're an hour north of Williamsport, so to all those people listening, right now and maybe tomorrow and in the future, you know, we're 3 weeks away from our event. If you want to come out and volunteer and watch rally cars, you want to stand in the forest to watch a rally car and have 5 seconds of fun, then you need to come out to SDPR
Yeah.
or any rally that's closest to you. Okay. Because that's going to be the title of my book one day when I write a book on rally.
I mean,
But
you should, man. We're down here like to promote within, like whoever has a product, we're here to support. But I've been to, same. My story is a little bit like 5% similar. Back
mhm,
then, there was no social media in 2010,
right.
so I had to pick. I happened to go to a Rallycross event,
Hmm.
thanks to a Subaru flyer that I found in my local Subaru dealership.
Wow.
Yes, there was
Wow.
nothing on MySpace, nothing on Facebook. There was
MySpace.
nothing, man. This is what I was talking. This is what I was, talking in the previous episode with Jordan from RJR Media.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I
I,
know him
I'm
well.
like, yeah, I don't know. You happen to have time to listen to the episode. I think it
Yeah,
was a great episode.
yeah.
Starting to do it in English. And
Hmm.
the reason we took 1 year to make it happen is because we wanted to, polish our product, our podcast, correct,
Right.
things, um, and then offer it to the North American listeners,
Yeah.
right,
Of
and
course, of
viewers.
course.
Now we were just audio. Now we just start, releasing video too.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I think if you, as a competitor, like you're a driver from Europe,
Hmm.
if you come from Latin America, anywhere in the world, STPR should be highly considered an event for you. Number one, because it's so close to major airports
You're right.
from New York and New Jersey, and also seaports. If
Yes.
you're gonna
Yes.
bring, your gear,
Yeah,
your
it's a
car.
5 hour drive. It's a 5 hour drive. I mean, for any competitor that wants to come from wherever, that that part of the country is easily accessible, especially from Europe, and even from Latin America, because it's you land there, it's 5 hours, you're at SDPR. Um, and again, even though we're a regional rally, right? We want people to come and take part. Why? We are a 2 day rally. Well, 2.5 days, because if you take our Thursday evening super special, because we moved the super special to Thursday, last year and then this year as well. And that might change, because we're looking to keep improving, right? We might bring it back to a Friday or a Saturday night, something. But we give you, regardless of whether we're a regional or a national. However, of course, we want to become a national again, right? But we're giving you 120 plus stage miles. Okay, that's national level mileage.
Yep.
We're giving you 2 days of rallying, and these were roads that were driven by Pastrana, Block, Higgins,
Mira.
Mira. I mean, you named them, Lachlan O'Sullivan, Buffum's driven them, right? So they've all driven these roads at some point, right? Throughout the history of the event. So come out, bring your vehicle. We understand that, in some cases, yes, it's a regional. Why would I travel all this way and spend all this money? But we also have, you don't have to bring your car over if you don't want to, because there are so many teams out there, such as Standard Motorsports, such as Argonaut Motorsports, right? I mean, all these rally teams, right? All these guys are out there, willing to rent their cars,
Mhm.
right? So, and I don't know. I apologize, but I don't know where Argonaut is based. But I know Standard is based, I think, out of Charleston or somewhere in South Carolina,
That
right?
that's another great point. That where
Yeah.
STPR is located, there is multiple professional rally teams that are offering full packages. Either,
Yes.
Arrive and
limited
drive.
two-wheel drive, open four-wheel drive, open two-wheel drive,
Whatever you
whatever
want,
toy
right?
you wanna
Mhm.
rip through the woods of
Yep.
Wellsboro,
Yeah.
you can go and just sit on it and have an amazing time and a rally. You got the
Exactly.
money, I'll say, it's well worth spending
Well
in an
spent. Well
STPR.
spent. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's. I mean, there might be a
Actually,
few.
before you go, we have
Yeah.
a question from Andy. Andy was SCPR has such a rich history in American rally. Many fans in the Northeast would love to see it return as a national event someday. From ARA's perspective, why we would need to happen for STPR to be considered a national championship schedule?
So I can't comment on ARA's decision making, right? I mean, they obviously have an algorithm of sorts as to how what rally is considered a national, what's a regional, right? Um, but we know from our perspective that the guidelines that have been set forth by ARA, we're doing everything that we need to do to ensure that we meet them, whether it's stage miles, whether it's how many times roads have to be used, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, we're doing what we need to do. You have to understand that rallying in America starts at the beginning of February and ends in October, right? So we have to take into consideration the fact that we have numerous rallies across the country. Our country is vast, and there are limited, dates. So uh, there are a lot of events competing for a very small window of dates. So at the end of the day, it is up to ARA to make the determination in terms of which rallies are going to be national events, which ones are going to be super regional events, which ones are going to be regional. So we can't do anything from our perspective more than what is asked of us to make sure our event is up to par and is meeting all the requirements that they do. And so we're consistently trying to improve and make sure we meet all those requirements, right? And that's basically it. Our aim is to go back to being a national, you know, um, and we will continue to strive to do that. That's our aim, that's our goal, and that's what we're gonna do. So yeah.
Awesome. So now we going back to what we usually do in our podcast. We have a couple
Mhm.
of questions that we would like to ask
Sure.
you. Number one, if you have unlimited budget and you can own and race any rally car from the past, from the future, what car would it be?
Hmm. I would do what's the one that Yari Mati is driving? His in the historic championship, the
The
ST
GT.
185.
Yeah.
The ST 185. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah.
Celica.
I always love the Celicas, no matter what shape or style or design they came in. I always love the Celicas, but the ST 185 and that Castrol livery would go. Now, if I could, I would go get Mohammed bin Sulayem's Celica from back in the day, but then again, I don't think that's possible. Yeah.
Hey, you can find it or do a replica.
Yeah, right. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you have unlimited budget.
I think a little bit budget.
Oh, unlimited.
Yes,
yeah.
you have
I
unlimited
think-
budget.
I think I will still go with. I think I'll still go with. But then I would go and
It's a factory.
buy.
It'll be a factory Toyota, basically.
Yeah, I'll go buy his. I'll go buy his his Celica from back in the day. So yeah.
Now, which rally would you do with that car?
Ooh.
Any rally. Again, unlimited budget, so you can just go and do that.
Unlimited budget. Well, I'll tell you, the one rally I wish I could have done was the rally I grew up with. It was the Dubai International Rally. It was wide open in the desert. No designated route, but there was a route. They used to do recce and all that. It was a route, but there really wasn't a route because it was really pure soft sand. And just the fact that I grew up in the deserts watching Rally of Dubai, and that would be an absolute dream come true, a full circle, of driving that rally. Now, I have to say one thing about the rally period before you go to the next question. So back in those days, there used to be, how we have our in the WRC, you have those time controls where, when the cars go through, they know what the splits are, right?
Mhm.
But in Dubai, because of the fact that it was so vast and empty and no real actual route, they used to have a thing called passage controls. So they would have a signboard, just with a clock and a passage control, right? Or I think it was a clock. Anyways, the marshals had to be put at those points, and they had to physically give a chit of paper to the co-driver.
Oh, wow.
And the drivers wouldn't slow down that much. They would just slow down very, very little because they're still going super fast, right? Well, one time, a co-driver, because I was like, I'm going to do it. I was like 7 years old or something. Oh, I'm going to do it. Boom. And dragged me for a good 100 feet before he realized what he had done.
Shoot.
Yeah, and they just freaking kept going. Yeah, and my dad just like watching me like, there goes my son. It was great. Yeah. So, but anyway, sorry, didn't mean to. Yeah. So
No, again, that's what like crazy, like close to
Yeah.
death situation is what makes this sport interesting.
yes.
Because
yes.
what are the chances that? All right, let's put it this way. I always say, what are the chances that you get that involved into a motorsport? You're not gonna get that close in NASCAR. You're not gonna get that close in, Global
Yeah.
Rallycross or, FIA Rallycross. You're not gonna get that close in Indy. Like there is no other motorsport that you can get that close to the drivers, that close to the car. So
Yeah. Yeah.
STPR again, it's another example, that you can be
Yeah.
part of this. You come
Yeah.
watch, come try the local food.
Yeah.
Wellsboro has an amazing canyon. I remember that the first time I
Yep.
went, I actually took
Yep.
my back then girlfriend, now wife, and she was hooked. She didn't know
Yeah.
nothing about rally. She didn't know
Yeah.
what the heck was about, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" It's like, again, I always say, you have nothing to do. You want to make friends.
Yeah.
The rally
Best way.
community, the rally
Yes.
community, STPR community, it's always been
Yeah.
awesome. And I can attest for it. I can, verify that. And, again, we don't have any links, we're totally independent, we're not paid.
Hmm.
None of
No.
that,
No.
none of that happens in this podcast.
Yeah.
So back to your story of almost,
Ah,
getting dragged by the co-driver.
yeah. Yeah. I got dragged by the co-driver. Yeah. I mean, no, but that's it. It's like, so I ate dirt, right? Basically. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I think if I could, I mean, that's the rally I would go and do, um, because that would be a complete circle for me.
Correct.
Yeah. And mind you, I've already driven Uninpoja, in Finland in a
Mhm.
rental car at a very slow speed because my wife was pregnant at the time. But I've already driven Uninpoja. So, the same one that Petter Solberg put the record on in 2014, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think I want to do Finland, but I would rather do my home rally of Dubai International Rally. So yeah.
There you
Now,
go.
imagine you're manager of a team and you can pick two drivers and you can pick two cars. What would be you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm the manager of the team.
And again, any driver, any cars.
I'm the manager of the team.
Yes, you're the one that can pick the drivers and the cars. Like imagine you playing the video game and you can just play the drivers and the teams.
You know who I'm going to pick? Honestly, and it's not drivers from the yesteryears.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the people we grew up with because we grew up, we idolized them, they were superstars in their own right. Yeah. I'll tell you who I'd pick. I'd pick Leah.
Okay.
I'll pick Leah as my primary driver. Because she's the future of American rallying. She's the future of women in motorsport, women in rallying, right? Um, I'd pick her. She's got amazing skill, of course the genetics are there, right? It's natural. She's got great skill, she's got great talent. She knows what she's doing. She's got an awesome co-driver with her, right? I would pick her. And then I would pick, oof. Actually I've thought about this and I had an answer in my, when I was thinking about it, but now that you put me on the spot and I don't remember my answer.
And mind you, we gave you a quick training.
You did, but it's like you have it in your head and then
And then
It's
you
all right.
analyze it, you're like, not.
We
that's
can
not
always
a good
come
answer.
back. We can always
Yeah,
come
we'll
back.
come back.
We can
yeah,
skip
let
that
me
question.
let me go back to my thoughts because I know I had somebody in my mind that
Yeah,
is
I don't want you to give
completely
me just a random. Yeah, I want you, it
no,
has to
that is
come. It has to come from the deepest side of your head
that
and
is
heart.
completely obscure. Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you one thing. After last weekend, I saw a driver last weekend who I think has enormous potential. Enormous potential. Uh, he's a real good kid too. So, and I think, and he's already set with with one aspect of this motorsport. But I think
Intera.
Seth Quintero. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I would pick him as backup to Leah. Leah would be my primary driver and he would be my secondary driver because you can guarantee points with him. I know it's only been a second or third rally, but uh the kid knows how to drive. And
I think
you
after
know,
the Baja or basically
his win in
the
Argentina,
third
yeah,
racing in
Mhm.
Argentina,
yeah,
his
yeah,
confidence came back.
sky
Yes,
high,
it
yeah,
came back and
yeah.
he just came and hammered Ohio.
Yeah, and you know he had an issue I think on day two, right? Where I think he was driving. I forget. It was something where he was driving in just one gear or two gears or something of that sort. He had an issue in between a couple of stages, but I think the way he managed that whole situation, you know, and still maintained his lead. He was hemorrhaging time to Leah, right? But the way he still maintained his lead, you know, and to still come out at top. That was fantastic. No, I think he's going to do really well. You know, he's a really good driver. He's got the resources behind him, right? He's got time, and you know, just from talking to him and just having a conversation, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and you know, he can be right now. He can be a very, you know, in a learning phase, a very dependable, you know, second driver. If this was my team, right? But no, Leah is my primary driver because, you know, I think it's their time. It's been way overdue for women to get their due in motorsport. I mean, Michelle Mouton was a pioneer
Mhm.
trailblazer, and it should not have taken this long
Yeah.
for women to have gotten back to the top. And I think, you know, if Leah continues to do what she's doing and gets better every day, which she will, of course. I mean, I would love to see her in the WRC2 category, you know. So yeah.
Now
Perfect.
we have a couple news that they just came out recently that it's now a confirmed 85% that WRC is coming back to the US.
Mm,
For what the understanding is from the last
right.
emails and the mass communication, it looks like at 85%. I don't want
Yeah.
to say a 90, 100, or yes, it's happening, but it looks like it is going to happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the fact that we have Leah, like you said, do you think that she's training in a way to do a WRC in a Rally 2 category in the
Of
US?
course. I mean, I don't, I can't tell you from, I mean, I don't know anything
Hmm.
about what, you know, what they do, but I mean, come on, we have to take it at face value. It's blockhouse racing.
Hmm.
Okay. For sure, they would be doing whatever they need to do to ensure that she's sitting in our, I'm guessing, right? I'm guessing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Um, I mean, just speculating here. Yeah, absolutely. I would hope because seeing Leah in a car on a WRC stage, you know, whether it's here in America or elsewhere in the world, I think that would be fantastic. You know,
I honestly think, sorry to cut you out. I
yeah,
honestly think that these guys are getting ready because Martel is racing in Europe.
yeah.
Leah is already
Not only
full.
that, he's doing WRC too. Is it this weekend? I think
Yeah.
in Greece.
This
Yeah,
weekend with
Yeah.
yeah,
with the
yeah,
license.
yeah.
So he's getting prepared. Leah is, pushing hard here too. And then Seminuk also is
Right.
exploring other
Exactly.
land.
So they are definitely, you know, what we see on social media, you know, is always, you know, there has to be a story behind it that we don't know. And there must
Yeah.
be, you know, I mean, that's just the way the world works and life is, right? We're not privy to all those inner circle details, right? And that's
Mhm.
perfectly all right. Um, but I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, with these guys, you know, doing what they're doing, with Hyundai coming and supporting, you know, giving factory support last weekend to, Pat Grushka and Leah and, you know, so yeah, I mean, there's obviously, you know, it sounds like everyone's preparing to jump into
Mhm.
some sort of a car if and when they come next year. And you know what? That's fantastic because what more I would rather take the best drivers that have the resources, that have the ability, and are out there doing what they need to do, whether it's in the French Gravel Championship, whether it's in the Finnish Championship, wherever they need to go and ply their trade to get better, so that when the event does come to the US, if and when it does come, that they are well prepared to fight these WRC2 regulars such as Gus Greensmith and and all these guys, right? The Russell brothers and all those guys, right? So because you don't want them to come into your house and beat you up, right? So
Right.
we're gonna do whatever our rally folk, that have the resources and the push behind them to train their drivers and get them up to speed and put them in the same level of machinery and say, and over the year they can do whatever they need to do in terms of how many rallies they need to go to and practice their skill, and then when they come next year they say, let's go, so
Hey, I will hire you for my manager. Can't wait until the podcast blows up so I can go
yeah,
on.
right.
We
I
So we're
wish.
gonna have our own.
Because you know what, you have to trust your people, right? You have to trust your people. You have to take some risks. Um, Obviously, when there's money involved, it's a whole different ballgame, right? But I mean, since we're playing make believe, right? You can take risks. You should be able to take risks, but you need to take them, make them calculated risks, right? And if you can do that and put your people at the top step of the podium, why not?
So now, what do you see the rally in the U.S. future? Like, what do you think it's gonna happen in the next couple of years? Not even 10 years. I think probably it's gonna blow up. It's incredible in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's going to definitely blow up for sure. I mean, if the confirmation, if there is a full confirmation when
Mm.
next year's calendar comes out for the WRC, if there's a confirmation that the US is definitely on it,
Mhm.
yeah, I think there's going to be a massive, uptick in the interest. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of influx of fans from around the world, primarily Europe, right, and Latin America. Um, but no, rallying in America will definitely be affected in a positive way. Um, I think what's also going to change, and which is changing, is the fact that, and you've seen this, Santiago, I think, from a co-driver perspective, is that we're seeing more of the pyramid, if that is the right word, of the rallying structure, right? The R4s, the R3s, the R2s, whatever, right? So we are getting into that mindset,
Mm.
right? It's not just only about American ingenuity, which
Yeah.
is, you take a,
Which is which
which
is a
is
good
good.
thing also. Yeah.
No, which,
we
no, which is a good thing,
we
which is a
we
great thing.
we call it here. We upgrading the fleet.
Upgraded the fleet, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, American ingenuity is fantastic, right? I mean, it's helped us in rallying. It's given us some awesome cars on stages. The V8 Sonic, and uh, and then at one point Matt Brandenburg had that fantastic idea of rallying a Lamborghini back in the day, and things of that nature. So we're able to do all those things, right? But I think for rally to succeed, we definitely need to consider going down the route of the pyramid, right? The FIA pyramid. Now, obviously, we know the rules for 2027 are all more on that uh, the one where everybody has the same body,
Mm.
the same shell, or and then you just put your own body on it and whatnot. So, more on the R2 category, right? So the Rally 2 category. So, I think with everything that's going on, uh, hopefully with us, if we adapt that process, I think it'll definitely blow up. The interest will get more. Obviously, the regional rallies will still have our Subarus and
Yeah.
and
So
BMWs and
basically,
all
yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
basically combine both classes,
yeah,
both schematics, basically, if you want to call it
right.
the
As
FIA
long as
pyramid. Yeah.
Right. But
Mhm.
remember one thing, even in some of these international rallies, right? And the FIA pyramid is there for the rally cars, right? But we need to make sure that I mean, of course, our tech is also fantastic, right? But we need to make sure that that our other drivers, our grassroots drivers, if they can
Mhm.
afford to get in with their cars on these WRC events in the US, or WRC event in the US, then that'll be fantastic too for the spectators that come from around the world.
Mhm.
Because not only are they going to see all the top level cars in the top 15, 20 cars, but then they'll get to see all our awesome stuff that we've still had, that we can run. So it all depends. But I think rally is going to definitely explode, especially if the WRC says, or the promoter says, yes, we're doing an event next year.
And we can see all that on the races that we had in the last couple last couple
Yeah.
months. We
Mhm.
had drivers from all over the place now. We have, before it was Irish,
Yeah.
and there was a couple of there was a few Canadians. Now there's a lot of
Yes.
Canadians. There's a lot
Right.
of
Swedish,
Swedish, and now we have
Turkish, or
we have
Yes.
Mexicans are
Lithuanian.
coming in. Yeah, the guys are coming
Yeah.
from South America. It's Spanish-speaking
Yeah.
drivers and co-drivers.
Yeah.
So it's getting better. It's getting there.
Yeah, I think
So
they're all coming. I think they're all definitely coming in anticipation. It just feels like it, in
Mhm.
anticipation of the WRC, so they can get a hang of what the roads are like and
Mhm.
how
I
it
was
feels.
gonna say, like, testing the waters to see how
Yeah,
it is, how it works.
it's high speed recce.
Yeah,
Now,
true.
now back to local event, STPR.
Mhm. Yes.
Do you have some insights, what it takes to be part of this rally as a competitor, like prices, regulations, insurability, and
Yeah.
also as a volunteer, and even the spectators, what are those three takes on three different
Okay.
parties can, expect
Yeah.
from the event?
Okay. So let's start with the competitor side of things, right? So I believe, fortunately or unfortunately, this past Saturday was our closing of early entries. Um, but we are still, we're still accepting entries. I believe we're at 25 right now. We want to see that go up to 40. So anybody that's listening out there, that's a competitor, um, if you're interested, if you have a car that's ready, you know, please go ahead and sign up. The more we have, the better it is, for everybody, more action as well. Uh, that's pretty much from a competitor perspective. I mean, again, as I said, it's 120 stage miles. 2.5 days of action. We start on Thursday night at the fairgrounds for 2 runnings of the Super Special. Obviously, they're not head to head, but it's still fantastic. We do have a donut, I think,
Yes.
where you have to do 2 donuts. Yeah, and it's still a good time. We have vendors out there for the fans and spectators, and volunteers and things of that nature. So from a volunteer perspective, our it's a fantastic place to come out to, right? I mean, Wellsboro to me is Rallytown, USA. There might be some other rallies that might disagree, but uh, I'll take Rallytown, USA on the East Coast. Okay, so um, it's a great event. We've raised a lot of money this year. Actually, we've raised the most amount of money that we've ever had in STPR history. We doubled what we raised last year, from a sponsorship perspective, with some great sponsors out there. Um, so from a volunteer perspective, just come out, sign up, or sign up first. You can go to rallymasterpro.com. If you don't have an account, you create an account. It's pretty quick. You just sign up and you say what you want to do. And if you just put, I just want to come and have fun, we'll put you in a place where you can have fun. Because anytime you
That's good.
volunteer as a marshal, you're going to watch a car go by at some speed, whether it's
Yep.
fast speed or not. You'll get to be close to it. You'll get to be closer to the drivers, the co-drivers, the teams, and you'll have access more than a regular spectator would. We have some great swag that we're giving away. Obviously, when you register, when you come do your final registration on Thursday afternoon. Um, we have free camping for our volunteers, and even for our competitors, even if they want to, right? We have camping at the fairgrounds, where it's free. All you got to do is bring your, it's covered. So even with the summer rains in Wellsboro, because we're in the Eastern Grand Canyon, um, you'll be covered, so you won't get wet. Um, so as I said, we have free camping over there. Um, for the fans, and also, sorry, I forgot, for the volunteers, what we do and what we did starting last year. I don't know, Santiago, were you there at the end of the rally last year where we gave away
Yes.
we recognize our volunteers, our top volunteers from the event. So we, as chief of controls myself, but I observe every potential volunteer that I can to the best of my ability. I can't get to every single one of them, but I do have secret shoppers out there as well. So um so I kind of get a report, a verbal of, how's this person, how's that person. And we just kind of, and look at how they're interacting with everybody, how they're working, cooperatively, so it's holistic, right? It's not just a one person decision. We're looking at it holistically and talking to a lot of people. But we do volunteer appreciation, right? We make sure based on how much available swag we have to give away from our sponsors, we accordingly determine, how many volunteers we can give it out to. Now that is a last minute decision because we don't know until we get there how much swag we have to give away. But so we do volunteer appreciation for that as well. So everybody gets a chance to be a part of that. Um, we have a raffle for our volunteers, which is part of one of our sponsors, the firm Rally School out of Florida. So they offer, I believe, a 1 day or 2 day class. I'm not sure exactly on that, but they do offer, a voucher for a class at their school in Florida.
That's awesome.
All day.
Like
Yeah,
that's worth thousands of dollars. For the people that don't
yeah.
know, a
That's
rally day or two
yes.
rally days is not, a cheap
It's not
gift.
cheap. No, it's not. I think it's about a $2,500 voucher. Um, so one lucky volunteer gets to win that. All they have to do is, I think it's valid for a year, and all they have to do is just pay their way down there and the hotel fees. But the rally school is then covered for as much as that voucher is worth. Um, we have a couple of other sponsors that are giving out things as well. So we have a lot of volunteer appreciation across the event from that perspective. Um, from a fan's perspective, from a spectator perspective, we have our multiple spectator areas. We obviously have on Thursday evening, we have the super special, right? That's open to all. Obviously, there's an entry fee to come in. But you get to watch rally cars. You sit on the side of the
Which is pretty accessible, I'm assuming. It's
it is
always
very
just,
accessible.
yeah,
Yes, it
like
is absolutely. It is at the Tioga County Fairgrounds, off of Charleston Road in Wellsboro. Very easy to see on Google Maps.
and the
Very
price
easy to
is
access.
and the price is not like hyper inflated. Like it's not
No, no,
expensive.
no, 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 not at all. We've kept our prices very, very minimal. And of course, if you're a veteran or a senior citizen, or you have a child under 5, there's obviously it's either free or a discount based on the layers that we have.
How much we're talking? Can we say the price?
Oh yeah, I think. Yes, we can. I'm just trying to remember because there's so many numbers
Okay.
going on in my head, but I believe it's something along the lines of $10 or $15
Yeah,
There is some
for
people
for
like
per adult.
yeah.
Yeah,
for
and
less
I
than a
think
quarter of a tank nowadays, you can get to watch a rally
yeah,
super special stage.
exactly, and two
In a
runnings of it, right?
fun,
So
in a
yeah.
fun raw stage on top of that.
Yes, exactly. And then the kids under 5 are free. I think seniors, I believe, are either $5 or free. I forget. So veterans, same thing. So we look out, and if you come with a family of 4 or 5 or whatever it is, I think we have bulk pricing that we had worked on. So you pay less per person from that perspective as well, right? So no, we made sure our pricing didn't increase from last year. Okay, so inflation or not, we've kept it the same because we don't believe in screwing the common man, woman, person. Let me be politically correct. So that everybody gets a chance to see rally cars in the dark, right? I mean, everybody should have the ability to walk in and watch some cars. We have food vendors out there. So there's a lot of, we're trying to bring back the old days of STPR, right? So a lot of food vendors there as well. We have merchandising available on site. You know, um, we have some great partners that have created some cool merch for us this year. This year we're also starting with our merch. For example, limited edition stuff that can be bought only at the event. and then later on after the event we'll put it online. That
Okay.
anything extra. But we have hats, we have hoodies, we have a lot of pins, we have all those kinds of things. So we have a lot of merch that we want to get out to the fans. So, and again, it's limited edition, so you'll know that it's from this year only, right? And it's very limited run. So I believe 100 sweatshirts, for example, or like 100 hats. So it's very, very limited. So it's where you got it and when you got it. So yeah.
Great.
It's awesome to know, so
Yeah,
that you have it,
mhm.
people.
And
Yeah.
also the good thing about the super special, it's the cars are right there, parked right
Yeah.
there. Like it's the
Yeah.
final day before. Like they're preparing the car. While we doing, people are doing well. I'll say
Hmm.
while we doing because last year I did it.
Hmm.
While we doing Ricky, the cars were right there, and
Yeah.
people just can interact with the crews, see the cars and
Yeah.
bun stuck with the tires out and doors open,
Yeah.
and on top
Yeah.
of that, spectate the race. And on top of that, what I love the most is about the the park exposes. I love it.
Yeah. 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 So, we have at the fairground on Thursday, for example, we have service right there. And
Mhm,
then Park Expose is also literally like right there just
mhm.
before they start the stage. And then of course, on the Park Expose then on Friday morning, is in Gailton,
Yeah.
so it's a nice little open spot. Um, so we have that. And then of course we have the classic, the Park Expose at the Wellsboro Green, right in the middle of Wellsboro downtown, and that's been there for forever.
That
And
park,
so
it's really green. So when you get that, people, like, you can take pictures,
yeah,
great pictures.
yeah,
It makes it look like you're not even like in the tri-state area. It makes it look like you're in like far place.
Yep.
yeah, it's very
The
magical.
scenery, it's awesome. Like, you're gonna love it. There is plenty of business down there. There is barbecue. There
Yeah,
is many businesses, local businesses that you can
yeah,
support. So,
absolutely.
again, if you need a getaway, if you need a place to go over the weekend, or you don't know where to go, kill two birds
Yeah.
with one stone. Go watch the race, support the local businesses, and
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, that's what makes uh, this nation great. It's always been like that, and hopefully
Hmm.
stays that way.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
so we've been
Well,
talking over an hour.
You were a marshal for Formula One Miami. Was it true?
yeah, that's true.
So going full circle that you weren't even
Uh,
marshal to Formula One
yeah.
also.
Who told you about that?
I think I saw a post
Yeah, you
that
probably
you
did,
were in
didn't you?
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, I live in South Florida.
Right.
I just finished 10 years in South Florida, and uh, I I've been wanting to go to the F1 race since it started here. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago,
Mhm.
and I just didn't know how to. And then one night at 3 a.m., I think back in January or February, I was scrolling through my feed, and it's like, "Do you want to be a marshal at F1 Miami?" I was like, "Wait, what?" So I clicked it, filled out my information. I thought it was a complete scam that I was going to get ripped off. Someone's going to take my picture and, do some fraud. But turns out it was the fact that it was real. They were looking for marshals. And so, yeah, bottom line, I got to go be an intervention marshal, which is basically, I guess, a version of sweep. Because if they crash or break down or get in a fire and they like right in your area, in your
Mhm.
sector or wherever, then you go and clean up that mess, right? So yeah, I didn't want to do all that flagging stuff because it just took too much brain power and I didn't feel like doing any
Yeah.
brain power work. um so I asked to be an intervention marshal, and it was fun. Got to put out a fire in a Porsche Cup car race. Yeah, a Porsche Cup race.
So you became a
It's
marshal and firefighter.
Yeah, basically. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, but it's part of I guess it's part of the marshaling thing, in F1. So, or circuit racing. So, but yeah, I got to go spend 4 days down at the track. I was at turn 3.5, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
another example that we were just talking about. How close can you be
yeah,
on a race?
yeah,
Now we just talk about rally. Now we're talking about Formula One and the Porsche Cups. Right there, you're literally putting out a fire. So
yeah, yeah. No, it was great. But there's a but.
there's always a but.
But
After the
wait,
first,
there is
after
more.
the, there is more. After the first 2 laps or 3 laps of an F1 race, you have to just wait for the last 5 laps. Everything else in the middle is boring. So think about it,
Yeah.
because it's the first 2 or 3 laps where they're battling for position, where things are going to happen, right? And then it's like they're just making their circles.
Yeah.
And it's the last 4 or 5 laps when it's like, okay, now who's going to make the move, right? And that's when things happen. Like, for example, not Romain Grosjean, Charles Leclerc
Mhm.
crashed just before, well, crashed, but like hit the barrier right before our point. But then it was the last lap and he continued on and finished. But, it was one of those things that, they were pushing at the end and they make a mistake. So you see it right there, right? You see it happening. So that's when it gets interesting again, right? Don't get me wrong, Formula One is not boring in any of the sense, but it's just like after when you're standing there for 4 days watching cars go in circles, eventually you're just like, okay, let's go.
That and again, for the people new to the rally world,
Yeah,
rally cars are literally street cars. They gotta be street
yeah,
legal. They gotta have lights. They gotta have a horn. They gotta
yep,
have windshield wipers. Like
yep,
they gotta have real headlights.
yes,
So there is no better motorsports than rallying, to be honest, either at low level or high level. Either you race a $10,000 rally car or you race half a million, rally
yeah.
car. I think at some point it feels like a ultimate motorsports, in my
Right. And
opinion.
absolutely it is, because rally drivers or anybody who's even been to rally school knows that the things you learn, apart from the fact that that you're going to turn right and left, not just, in one direction, that you're able to drive on any surface. You're able to drive at speed and how to modulate your speed with your brakes, and there's so many different things that are happening. Um, so people think that the pinnacle of driving is F1. No,
No.
the pinnacle of driving is rallying. Because rally drivers just are aware of how to drive, where to drive, how much to drive, and they can drive on any surface. And don't forget, if they don't do recce, now they're driving blind based on what their co-driver's telling them. So they got to trust 100% in their co-driver. And if they've done recce, they you still don't know the roads fully 100%, right? So yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yep.
All right. So let's finish it up, sharing the dates and the exact place where STPR or how do you, I never know how to pronounce that.
Susquehanna
Sure.
Tri Performance Rally.
Susquehanna Trail Performance Rally.
Performance Rally.
All right, there you go. When,
Oh, the
where,
first thing that I
and
learned when I went to SCPR.
Yeah, that's the region. So yes, STPR, also known as the Susquehanna Trail Performance Rally, is coming soon, July 9th through the 11th. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's the weekend after July 4th, after
put
we
it in your
celebrate.
calendars, people. Don't be like
Yep.
me. I forget, so I always got my calendar.
Don't worry. I think the L Rally podcast can send out an invite to all their Facebook and social media followers, right? So
What better invitation than this? This episode is live now on the screen, YouTube
yeah,
and Facebook. And as soon as me and Santiago edit it, we're gonna publish it through Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other major platform. This is what I'm saying. Like our reach is big. It might not
it's
look like it, but when we
it's
see it,
huge.
when we see the algorithm and this side of this on this side of the screen, it's
Yeah,
crazy. Like we're in 50 countries. How I don't know, but it's there.
You
So
think
I wanna thank
someone's gonna
you.
sit? You think someone's gonna sit and listen to me for an hour right now? I have no idea.
Dude, if I show you the retention time that we have in this program is insane. Just to put
Wow,
it like the
that's good.
first year we were top 10 in our category.
Wow, that's
And
fantastic.
like, but we don't like to, like make it like a big deal because we're true
Sure,
to our roots.
of course.
Personally, this podcast wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the support like you, the
Hmm.
support of the previous guests, that they actually
Absolutely.
have made time to share with us. So I want to thank you before, we get to the end of this episode.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, and I'm really happy that you guys invited me on, to help us promote SDPR, rallying, just talk about rallying, period. But no, definitely more about promoting SDPR, and getting the word out there and getting the word out to all your followers and listeners and viewers, that if they want to come, they need to come to SDPR. It's a fantastic event, and we're trying to do our best to keep it going. It's been 49 years and we're gonna go for another, at least another 51, right? Well, as long as I'm alive, at least. So,
Yeah.
however long that is. But no, it's fantastic. What you guys are doing for rallying from your perspective is also fantastic, right? Um,
Thank you.
Getting out there from a podcast, vlog, whatever perspective, and reaching an audience that needs to be reached, right, across the world in multiple languages, um, you know, and so that we can get more people,
And,
uh,
and,
more
and let's be
diversity.
honest, just to
Yeah.
rewind a little bit. And again, sorry to cut you off, but
No, it's fine.
after 2020, I personally think that our human disconnection corrupted. So it's not only about rally, guys. It's
No.
about, like coming together again as a community, coming again together as a family, and
Yeah.
the things to have in common in this case is racing. But besides racing, it's more is the moments, the food, the going to places. Like I remember with Santiago, when I guess third or fourth time doing crew. That's how I started, by the way, doing
Yeah,
crew.
yeah, yeah.
Just literally going crewing for beer and food.
Right.
We were getting Chinese food
Yeah.
at STPR. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's things that again they're never gonna fade away, and it's stories that you can make with your friends if you have not
Absolutely.
discovered a healthy, amazing way
Neat.
to make new
Yeah.
friendships.
No, absolutely. The rally community is fantastic, and they say rally family, right? I mean, it is absolutely a rally family, right? People will help you. Santiago helped me by giving me a stylus to plug it to my fuel line. 11 years ago. So, so there's so many different ways, and don't forget, your job was very important, my friend. Okay, being that crew member that is required to go and pick up food is a very, very important task. Okay. So you have to realize that while the car may need gas and oil fluids and everything else, it's the drivers need their beer and co-drivers need their beer after
Yeah,
the
of
event.
course. After the
And
race,
so do
guys.
after
Let's be
the race.
clear. You
Yes.
don't
No,
come
no,
drunk
no, no,
driving at the race.
no, but after the rally, they need their beer. It's very important. It's a good hydration method. So, no, but it is, everybody is very important on a team. It doesn't matter what their role is. Everybody plays a very key role, regardless. So, no, but thank you guys. This was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I hope you had a great time, Santiago.
Absolutely.
Thank you again, Akash. It's been a pleasure. It's
No
been a
problem.
while that we
Yes.
have a long conversation.
Yeah, we haven't had a conversation in
Yeah,
a
we
while.
haven't had a
So,
conversation for a
yes.
while. So hopefully we can continue this conversation in STP.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
going over there. I requested the days off. I'm ready, so I'm good. I'm
Absolutely.
getting everything ready so I can just be there. And I'm still trying to figure it out if we go in as a media or volunteer or do a combination of both.
Combination of both.
Yeah.
By the way, my son still remembers you and the little Ferrari F1 car that you gave him when he was sleeping in your truck.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was
He
the
ma-
first time that was the first time and the only time I volunteered for rally.
Right. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
the first day. No, that was the second day. The first day
Uh-huh.
was me with your dad on one of the
Yes.
stages.
Yes.
And say hi to your dad, but it's been a while
Yeah.
that I have that.
He'll be there. You'll see him.
Happy Father's Day,
Happy
guys.
Oh
Father's
yes,
Day also
thank
for
you,
both
thank
of
you. Yes, yes, yes.
So happy
Yes, to
Father's for
you
both
guys
of you.
too if you have the kids. So
Not yet.
Thank you, man.
But yeah.
Socials for STPR. How can people find your event?
we're on Facebook at Susquehanna Trail Performance Rally. We're on Instagram at STPR Rally. Those are the two. I don't think we're on Discord. I don't think we're on X.
Website?
www.stpr.org.
There we go, guys. So
yeah.
all the information is there. I'm assuming the spectator guide is there.
Yes. So our spectator guide is in the process of being finalized. I believe it is. It was just finalized this past weekend, I believe. So it should be going online soon. And we will also have some physical copies available for the spectators at registration.
Are you guys using a sporty?
Yes.
So yes, we are. We haven't used it before in its entirety, but we will be using it for our volunteers. We're just, as I said, we've had some changes in our, especially in our volunteer coordinator, as I said, at the start. So my volunteer coordinator who jumped in to help me last year and has now taken over fully, is navigating those sporty realm.
Okay.
So we should be having something up there by the end of this week, hopefully. So
Sweet.
And the password for Sporty is STPR2026.
There we go.
I believe it is. Yes.
Yeah, it is because I have
So,
it. Since they came
yeah.
out, I have it. You know me.
Yeah.
Once the information came out, I gotta be on top of it.
Exactly.
Do we know when is the last day to register for the guys that want to race?
Good question. I should know this by the top of my head, but
I'm pretty sure they can find it on the website. Eh?
they can. The subs are out. It really blocks my mind right now, but I think it should be a week before the event.
Okay.
Yeah, so a week before the event they can register, but yeah, just keep trying, and if they want to register and they can't, they can always reach out to our competitor registrar, Sue Ann Carson, on socials, and she should be able to guide them.
Sweet.
So yeah, and for registration for volunteers, they can register anytime all the way up till the event, even including if they just show up directly on Thursday evening. However, we do not recommend that. That's the best way. The best way would be to just go ahead.
It's never a good idea to keep it for the last day. It makes things more
Right.
crowded.
It makes our teams all, because we already have our team set, and we want to make sure everybody gets a good spot. So
fantastic.
So
right.
the last day for register is Wednesday, July 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
is it July 1st?
Yep.
Okay, then so basically
Closing entries. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. I think we can wrap it up.
Yep. Thank you again, Aakash. It's been a pleasure to have you. To everybody that's been on the live, thank you. Muchísimas gracias a todos que nos estuvieron pendientes y las preguntas. It's been a pleasure, and I see you, and I will see you en STPR. Y la gente que quiera irse, tienen toda la información, la pueden encontrar en stpr.org. También en todas nuestras redes sociales como el Rally Podcast. Y vamos a estar allá, voy a estar allá pendiente, como parte de media para estar ahí. Si tienen alguna promoción, alguna pregunta que me quieren, voy a estar ahí presente. If you have any questions, I'm going to be there as a media or as a volunteer. So if you have any questions, how to get there, when to get there, you can just follow us on our social media that we will be posting everything. My name is Santiago Alban. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Aakash?
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. All right. Thank you again, Aakash, for joining us. Thank you, Santiago. Another episode that we, make great context for our followers and our viewers and listeners. My name is Jorge Pardo. It is a pleasure to have in the Rally Podcast. Remember, stay behind the tapes, listen to the marshals, and stay safe in the stage. Until next time.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Bucky Elastic. You're listening to the Rally Podcast.
Esto es el Rally Podcast, vamos al rally. Deja tu problema en la cuneta. Pilas que el tramo ya está cronometrado y el anti-lag se escucha cada vez más cerca. Bienvenido al podcast que lidera. El primer auto pasa, el polvo se levanta y deja la primera huella. La gasolina y el aroma de la naturaleza se mezcla.